In New Zealand, John starts a new day of work. He goes from house to house collecting the money neighbors pay for the protection of the local kingpin. On his way he bumps into his friend Gaz, who is bored and decides to come along. When all the money has been collected, John takes it to his boss. Shelton shows him an explosive vest that his sister Kelly has been building, and John is immediately interested in her. However, Shelton drags him away for a serious talk. The Chinese mafia is looking to set up shop in this town, starting by using Wali's antique shop as a gambling drop. Shelton refuses to give up control of his town, so he has a plan. A shipment of crime money will be dropped off at the antique store and Shelton wants John and Gaz to intercept it. Afterward the boys go to the bowling club for a drink and discuss what they'd do if they had money like Shelton. Gaz points out that the shipment will be in the store for anyone to steal and says that they should take it for themselves, but John is too scared of Shelton to act behind his back. Later at the cemetery, Kelly finds John drinking beer in front of his parents' graves. John admits he wants to start his own organization, so Kelly points out that he needs to grow some nuts to do so. When John goes home, his landlady tells him he needs to move out before 6. It turns out he's been living in her garage and now she needs it for an actual car. John doesn't have anywhere to go, so he looks in the mirror and hypes himself up until he's brave enough to call Gaz to agree to do the robbery. At the antique store, he meets with Gaz and they wait for the shipment to arrive. A car soon arrives and brings out a tire, so John assumes the money is hidden there. After one leaves, the boys put on some masks and Gaz reveals he's brought his mother's gun. The duo rushes into the shop and they ask Wali where the Chinese money is, so he points at the tire. A quick cut confirms the tire is full of cash and John takes it all while Wali calls them idiots for stealing from the mafia. John also sees a bracelet on display and takes it as a gift for Kelly. At that moment Gaz sees a car approaching and runs through the back door. Before John follows him, Wali warns him that the bracelet is very dangerous. If he uses it, a demon will come for him. John ignores him and finally runs to join Gaz. Wen enters the store and gets angry when he sees that the tire has been emptied, so he tries to run after the boys with a blade in hand. Outside, John uses a box cutter on one of the tires on Wen's car before joining Gaz in his vehicle. Wen almost catches up to them but Gaz manages to start his car just in time to drive off. Minutes later the duo reaches a hideout in the woods. Suddenly two people jump on John and capture him before passing the bag of money to Shelton, who knew about the plan all along because Gaz betrayed his friend. He checks John's pockets and finds the bracelet, so he puts it on John's wrist to mock him for liking girly things. Then Shelton orders Gaz to kill John, but Gaz can't bring himself to do it. A thug named Damage volunteers and Gaz tries to leave, but Shelton forces him to watch. However, when Damage shoots, the bullet goes backwards and hits Terry in the eye. Gaz doesn't have any more bullets because his mother keeps them locked up, so John uses the chance to run. While some of Shelton's thugs go after John, Officer Lei shows up to remind them that they aren't supposed to discharge firearms in public. Shelton uses the Chinese money to buy his silence. Meanwhile, John hides inside an abandoned trailer and watches his pursuers run ahead without noticing. Then he looks at the bracelet and notices it has a strange button. Suddenly he hears a voice telling him to press it and John is shocked to see himself at the back of the trailer. He runs away while the second John yells that he'll know when to push the button. Eventually John has to stop running to throw up. The thugs finally get to catch him and dunk his head in dirty water, trying to drown him. Not knowing what else to do, John presses the button. Things look blurry for a while and his body feels funny. When he looks up, he finds himself alone and the trailer is empty. John returns to the hideout and is surprised to see himself surrounded by Shelton and his people. It turns out the bracelet has sent him 5 minutes back in time. The chase starts for this John too, so future John runs to hide in the trailer and waits for his present self to tell him about the button, recreating the scene. Moments later, Kelly finds John and tells him that Shelton's gang is still looking for him to kill him. She's also very impressed by what John did and thinks he should take the money back, saying that Shelton has hidden it in the basement. John refuses and wants to escape, so Kelly admits she doesn't want him to run away and leaves. Suddenly Wen appears behind John pointing a gun at his head. He tells him to use the bracelet to get the money back or he'll kill him and Kelly. He gives him a card with the address of an inn where they'll meet tonight. Afterward John presses the button and goes back in time. He hears the gunshot and immediately hides behind some trash to watch the two other Johns hide in the trailer. After everyone is gone, he decides to press the button again and goes back another 5 minutes. Then he hides further back and watches how the third John observes the first two. When John is about to press the button again, another John shows up to stop him. They don't understand what changed this time, so they go looking for a friend who can help. They knock on a container and say the password before Jay comes out ready to shoot his slingshot. He's confused by the sight of two Johns, so they tell him what happened. Jay takes a close look at the bracelet and recognizes the demon toady, who is known for eating everything in sight and then itself. The bracelet was made in ancient China and hidden in the mountains by a monk. When war took over the country, the monk gave the bracelet to a warrior named Wali, who was eager to use this power to save his homeland. The monk warned him that if he met himself while time traveling the demon would come for him, but Wali ignored him. Using the bracelet, Wali easily won the war by going back in time every time he lost a fight and trying again with the new knowledge. The country called him a hero and gave him riches, but he could only think about one thing: meeting himself. One day he finally gave in and pressed the button to make another Wally appear. Soon the demon came for him and killed him. Jay tells the Johns to press the button at the same time so everyone will go back, but they have to pay attention to what each of them is doing. The Johns don't want to go to Shelton's because they'll be killed on the spot, so they decide they'll get the money by robbing a bank instead. They go to the store to get a bag, masks, and 2 toy guns that they paint black to make them look real. The Johns burst into the bank but barely get to say a word before an armed lady shoots one of them. The other John immediately runs away and hides in a public bathroom, where he decides to press the button again. He reappears 5 minutes ago and finds a man already using the toilet, so John goes out while tourists take the chance to take pictures of the bathroom. Afterward, John returns to the woods. He sees himself talking to Kelly, and the other 2 getting ready for the robbery. Then he goes to the bank and waits until the woman isn't looking to take away her gun from her bag. Soon the 2 Johns arrive and the 3rd John tells them to go ahead. The Johns are very awkward when they threaten the clerk, and she calls her supervisor. The guy comes out and the sight of thieves makes him throw up. The clerk has no choice but to give the robbers a valuable box. The 3 Johns return to the woods and open the box, only to discover it doesn't have much. A paint bomb explodes on their faces, but John keeps looking. Under some checks and pension slips, he finds $38. 2 Johns send the 3rd one back so they can use the money to buy beers. At the bowling club, the clerk sees them and calls Shelton. The Johns discuss the idea of robbing Shelton over and over again using the bracelet for trial and error. After one of the Johns goes to the bathroom, Damage and the other thugs show up and quickly capture the remaining John. He tries to press the button but the thugs are keeping his arms apart, so Damage stabs him with a knife. As John's body falls, he presses the button and reappears in the club without the wound. He runs to the bathroom and hides in a stall to wait until the 2nd John shows up. Then he rushes back to the club and hits Damage from behind to bring him down and save himself. While the other thugs run away, the Johns look at each other and realize they've become their own gang, so they call it Mega Time Squad before the 3rd John jumps back. Meanwhile, Kelly is putting the explosive vest on Shelton. He gets a call informing him that John has a gang and they're going after him, so Shelton wants all his men to come to his place. Once everyone is there, Shelton chooses Sammy as their guard. Outside Shelton's home, Sammy waits in his car while smoking. When he sees someone in the shadows, he turns on the car lights and confirms it's John. Sammy raises the gun but can't bring himself to shoot a former friend. Suddenly he's startled by the 2nd John, but he thinks having a copy is cool. Sammy agrees that Shelton has been a jerk lately, so he lets the Johns pass. Shelton then sees a John on the camera and sends Terry out with a gun. That John immediately runs while the other sneaks inside and gets the thugs' attention. They barely get to react before he uses the bracelet and reappears behind them. A chase ensues through the house and the thugs are extremely confused because John keeps appearing and disappearing in random corners. Shelton sees Johns on multiple screens at the same time and thinks they're malfunctioning. Terry follows the 1st John into the house and becomes part of the confusion. Eventually 2 Johns end up on the stairs at the same time, so Shelton sees them together on camera. Soon more Johns appear together because they've been time traveling over and over to put together a whole gang. When a thug manages to corner one of the Johns, another one appears behind him and strikes him down with a hammer before disappearing. A John manages to reach the basement, where searches every corner for the money to no avail. When he sits down to think, he finally finds the money bag behind a cushion. At that moment he hears the gang coming, so he activates a smoke flare. Terry shoots blindly and hurts everyone's ears with the noise. In the kitchen, Kelly opens a drawer to get some chips and is shocked to find the vest. She decides to eat alone in her room, but she's approached by Damage, who tries to awkwardly flirt with her. She tries to kick him out but he ignores her and gets too close. At that moment John comes in and tries to stop him, only for Damage to point his gun at him and call him a coward. John considers pressing the button, however he wants to prove to Kelly that he's a brave man now. He hits Damage's face with the money bag, then he grabs him and starts poking his forehead wound. Damage runs away but swears he'll get his revenge. Then John asks Kelly if she wants to run away with him. Shelton and his men search the basement and discover that the money is gone. Everyone runs outside to look for John, but he and Kelly are already driving away in Gaz's car. Damage tries to open fire, however the bullet hits Terry in the wounded eye. Shelton makes his men get in his car to chase after John. After everyone is gone, 4 Johns come out of the house and realize they've pressed the button too many times. They go home and discover that the landlady has already thrown all of John's things away. Her son is currently burning those things, so the Johns surround him and intimidate him until he gives them his car keys. Moments later John and Kelly arrive at the inn and ask about Wen, who hasn't arrived yet. They decide to rent a room while they wait, and while having a snack, John shares the story of how he ended up working for Shelton. In return, Kelly reveals she came to live with her brother because she blew up her school. She had been tired of being harassed by other students, so she used the school lab to make a bomb. John thinks this is very cool, and they end up kissing. The new couple is about to get naughty but they're interrupted when the other Johns enter the room. An argument ensues as they start blaming each other for pressing the button too much or not at the right moment. Kelly spots them and points out that with so many of them, they could overpower Wen and keep the money. This only causes another argument because they don't want to share it, and Kelly calls them egomaniacs. Outside, Lei finds Gaz's car and calls Shelton to tell him the location. In the inn room, everyone has fallen asleep. John wakes up and goes to the bathroom, and soon a second one does the same. However, they don't bump into each other and find it suspicious, so they argue again until one of them goes outside for fresh air. He hears a noise and turns around to notice that some plants have been moved. Suddenly he's startled by someone behind him. When Kelly comes to the door to close it, she finds John 1 bleeding on the floor. Her screams wake up the other 3, and John 2 comes out to check on his bleeding buddy. At that moment the mysterious killer appears inside and drags John 3 away. Kelly and John 4 run out of the room while John 5 stays to grab the money bag. Since the killer is now coming for him, he rushes to hide in the nearest room and blocks the door with the ironing board. Then he tries to escape through the window, but it's too high for him to jump. In the corridor, Kelly and John 4 see the gang coming out of the elevator, so they take the stairs. They make it to the manager's door, but it's locked and he won't answer. The gang corners them and Damage tries to attack them, so Kelly kicks him in the groin to bring him down. When the manager finally opens the door, John immediately runs in and uses the back door to go outside. When John 4 looks up, he sees John 5 at the window and convinces him to come down. John 5 slowly climbs out and 4 asks him to throw him the bag to make it easier. After some hesitation 5 tosses it, and 4 immediately returns to the room. At that moment the gang breaks in and the manager wets his pants at the sight of a gun. John 4 goes back outside and just waits on the side while the gang runs out without seeing him. Now he can return to Kelly and run away. Outside, the gang looks up and sees John 5 at the window, so Terry opens fire and 5 is forced to go back inside. Damage goes to search the honeymoon suite and finds a dead John 3. While he's distracted taking a selfie with the body, the killer sneaks out. Kelly and John 4 take the elevator and Terry tries to shoot them, but the door closes too fast. The couple makes it to the lobby but Kelly isn't walking fast enough, so Terry catches up to them and grabs Kelly by the arm. They start arguing while John 5 shows up, so 4 keeps Terry distracted with a bad magic trick and 5 knocks him out from behind. Afterward both Johns grab Kelly at the same time and fight over her. All their pulling causes her to fall. Then John 4 punches 5 twice to knock him out before grabbing Kelly again, but she refuses to go with him. Suddenly Terry shoots John 4 and his head blows up, covering Kelly in blood. Thinking all the Johns are dead, Shelton makes Terry grab the money bag and the gang leaves. Suddenly another John 5 wakes up and tries to talk to Kelly, but she's tired of this and leaves alone. 5 then takes the car keys from 4's pocket, only to accidentally drop them on the remains of his head. After disgustingly picking them up, John leaves in Gaz's car. During the ride, he considers pressing the button again, but instead he takes the bracelet off. Minutes later John is at the antique store asking Wally for help. Wally shows him a picture that reveals he went through the same thing and explains the demon doesn't stop until there's only one left, which is why he's still alive. He's the last Wally. He advises John to kill any remaining Johns if he wants to survive. Then John visits Jay to get his help and access to his weapons. The duo sneaks into Shelton's house and brings down 2 of the thugs using the slingshot and bolas. They tie them up and hide them in a closet. Shelton sees it all on the security camera and sends Terry to take care of it. In the corridor, Jay tries to attack Terry with a slingshot, but Terry accidentally fires the gun first and hits him in the leg. Jay uses his slingshot anyway and hurts Terry's healthy eye. Meanwhile John goes looking for Kelly and Damage runs away as soon as he sees him. He apologizes for his attitude and shows her that he's given up the bracelet. Kelly makes him promise that he'll behave from now on before finally forgiving him. When the couple tries to leave with Jay, the gang follows them and Shelton points his gun at John. Kelly tries to be a shield so Shelton makes his men drag her away and hits John to bring him down. However John shows no fear and says Shelton won't shoot because he doesn't know how to do anything by himself, so he makes his henchmen do it for him. Shelton denies it, yet he still asks for a volunteer. The guys refuse, finally understanding that their boss is a weakling. John stands up proudly and tells Kelly he loves her. Shelton raises his gun again only to be shot first by Wen, who quickly takes the money bag. He intends to shoot John too, but Gaz scares him away by attacking him with a slingshot. Then Gaz and John reconcile. Moments later, John and Kelly are leaving town in Shelton's car. Kelly opens her bag and reveals that she stole all the money. At the same time, Wen delivers the original bag to his boss, only to find the vest inside. The explosion instantly kills him. The next day, John uses the bathroom at a gas station. Suddenly the demon appears behind him, but John notices it's a disguise. This is another John, who wants his money back. Since this John hasn't fallen in love with Kelly, the first John makes a deal. He keeps Kelly while Masked John takes the money. Then John keeps Kelly distracted in the shop while his other self takes the bag from the car. Later Kelly realizes that John gave up the money to be with her and says she loves him too. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.